Hi there, and welcome back to Curated by Carm. I'm Carmen, and this is a sewing DIY and lifestyle channel. So, first up, I'm so excited to tell you about my latest project. But first, I'll do a quick what I have on. This is a kimono wrap top. It's Simplicity 8091. It's a pretty older pattern, but one of my favorites. Always looks good. We dressed up, dressed down. It gives waist, which is key for me. And it is just an easy, very quickly comes together super fast, and it's one that I just enjoy. So that is the top that I have on now. And this one is made out of a canvas from Hobby Lobby. And so it has a lot more structure, so it can be made in any kind of woven that you have. But I do like this one because it is one that could dress up and dress down. It also looks kind of like cow print, which my obsession with animal print is should be studied. But it's not exactly that. And it's just cute. It's fun. I'll throw some pictures up of me wearing it. But yeah. Okay, now to the real fun part, which is I just made my dress to go to the Grammy Awards. No. A couple weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago, my coworker was like, "Hey, so are you going to join us for the Grammys this year?" Da da da. I hadn't planned on it, but I'm like, absolutely, say less. I am a music girly. I love the Grammy Awards. This is my 5th year going, but my first time even attempting to make my own dress and then actually wearing it. Longest story short is it came out great. I'm very pleased. I hope you guys enjoy it too. And now let's get into it. So the vision. So first I decided that I really wanted to do something kind of vintage inspired. I feel like gowns, first let's start. Grammys is creative black tie. So you do have some flexibility to have some fun, do something a little bit more inspired, more out there than if you were going to the Oscars. The Oscars, very traditional gowns. So this does free you up to do something a little more fun. I decided I want to go vintage just because, one, it's actually not a style that I typically go for, although I do love some vintage silhouettes. And I thought it would be fun on the carpet to do something really bright. So that was my first idea. Wasn't quite sure of what I wanted the bodice to be, but I knew I wanted kind of a poofed T-length dress with a really great shoe. That was key. And so I came across, this is even wilder because it's a free pattern. I used Mood Sewciety, the Maisel dress, which is inspired by the Mrs. Maisel show, like a dress she actually wears on the show. And I'll throw it up here. I was like, oh, this is perfect. It's gonna look cute. It'll get the vintage vibes I'm looking for, the 50s and 60s. It'll be great in a T-length. And I'm gonna throw in some tulle because why wouldn't I? So I had some tulle that I knew that I bought ages ago. I can't even tell you when I bought it, where it's from. It's got to be 6 years old. And at the same time, at the end of holiday, so around Black Friday, Mood was during their dead stock sale, and I bought a cobalt blue. It's a rayon, a cobalt blue rayon, and I was like, oh, it's so pretty. It's so much beautiful drape to it. So I said, you know what? I think those two things might work. So some fabric I've had for 8 years and this dead stock fabric. So I'll show you the fabric here. So, and these are the pieces because of course the project is already completed, but I went back and bought more of the Mood fabric. So it's this cobalt, royal blue, I guess, really, fabric, and it's beautiful. The drape one is gorgeous. Sorry, it's not folded all that well. Again, it's kind of the last of it. And it was so beautiful. And I said, oh, this is the tulle. And they just happened to work well together. Not planned, just had it kind of in my stash. This is new. This is very old. But I was like, oh, that's going to look gorgeous together. So here we are. That is the fabric. Now you know the pattern. So then I get into making it. I'll throw some stuff up. Of course, I was moving at lightning speed to get this done, so I did not tape every bit of it. So sorry about that, but you can see some of the cutting, some of the sewing, etc. And I wanted to talk through kind of some of the learnings, things I did, and if you decide to do this project, what I would recommend. So first, I'm trying to remember who did a video of it that I watched. I will go back and look. I want to say it was So Happy. I can't recall, but I'll throw her name up on the screen. She did a sew along, which was very helpful because Mood's instructions can be a little bit tough sometimes, and especially because I was adding to this dress. So this dress is a lined bodice. You can line the skirt, but I was doing everything with tulle, so just a little bit more involved. Tulle moves around. You have to be more mindful of the actual of the sewing and the fabric as you're putting it through the machine, etc. So it was a lot of learning for me because I do not usually work with tulle, hence this thing being in my stash for this long. And I'm not really a tulle girl all that much, but it's fine. So I decided to work with this fabric, this pattern, and then I saw the sew along and I was like, I can totally do this. I did a tulle. I did because it's for the Grammys. You want to look like something, and I don't want to mess this up. So I did just the bodice only, which I will say is a mistake. You can see the sizing was good. I got the sizing right around the bodice. I have a larger bust. I don't always require a full bust adjustment, but I am mindful of it. So I wanted to make sure that the bodice would fit. I did the mock-up. I was like, okay, this works. I made a couple tweaks. Lovely. What I didn't account for is that I have a short torso, and technically I would have liked the skirt to be about an inch or two higher on my waist than it was. Not ideal, but we made it work. And I didn't notice until I put the whole thing together. By this point, I'm like, bodice is together with the skirt. Multiple rounds of tulle and gathers have taken place to get this skirt as full as it was. And it was multi-paneled. If you watch her video, but you can see it, but it's a multi-panel skirt already. So it was just very involved. And at that point, I couldn't figure out how to tweak it to make it work. And I did it, and then I had to take it apart. And after I took apart the tulle and the full skirt one time, I was like, I'm not messing it up again. I'm going to just make sure my belt is very cute. Give myself a waist with a cute belt. So I then finished off the dress and was trying to get a really good press on it, because that is what makes everything look so much cleaner and more professional. Honestly, that pressing is key. So I have a clapper, I have the ham, I'm doing all that stuff. I needed to look like something. So here is me with the final dress. Oh, the one thing, the pattern does come with a belt, which I cut out originally, but then I decided I wanted to do, I did a 2-inch elastic belt that I wanted more for the structure than I wanted for the stretch. I didn't want it to have like ridges in it, but I wanted it to be pretty. The belt in the pattern, it just calls for just kind of like a regular around the waist, put a snap on it belt. And I didn't think that was going to elevate it to the level that I wanted. And I wanted it to be a little thicker, especially since I was trying to create more of a waist, right? So I did a wider elastic, and then I encased the elastic in the fabric, and then I created a little bow that was so cute. And I just watched a video of a girl doing it on YouTube, so I'll also try to find that video if anybody's looking for a bow. And then I just stitched the bow on and did a snap instead of doing buttons or anything. And then it just elevated it. So this is the final photo of me in the dress this is me still at home, but before I left to go out to LA for the award show. Now I will say I have one more minor but a little bit major challenge. Oh wait, before I say this, I love the dress. I thought it was so cute. I decided to go with a bright green shoe and a little Brandon Blackwood trunk. He has these trunks that are so cute. I have a couple of them, but the matte gold metal trunk is everything. And it just really hit off with the whole vintage look. We did the ponytail. It was super cute. Here's me on the carpet. You can see me and my husband in some of these shots. But it was such an incredible experience. And the fact that, one, I got to share it with him, which is always a good time. 2, I got to do it wearing something I made, which I would not have done this in the past. I always go shopping for gowns. Like, that is not even a thing I usually think to do, but I did it in this case, and I'm so proud of myself for doing it. Like, that was it. It was just like, wow, I actually made it happen, and I loved it. One bad thing I will say, I packed the wrong strapless bra. Y'all, it wasn't the worst. Clearly, I'm still very happy with where we netted, but that was the one thing I'm like, damn it, Carmen, for real, it's fine. Everything's fine. We got through it. And I still look great on the carpet. And so many people complimented. At first, I was not going to tell anybody I made the dress. And then my husband started telling people because he knows I'm like a bit of a shy person. I'm never gonna like explicitly say anything. So I wouldn't comment. And we were in one of the partner lounges and about to take some photo or something. And I'm standing next to this woman. Her daughter comes over and she's like, "Oh my God, I love your dress." And I said, "Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it." And then my husband says, "She made it." And I looked at him like, "Chris." And so she was like, "Oh my God." Like, she's like, "Wait, do you have an Instagram? You should be totally doing something with this." And I was like, "Girl, no," but I did decide like 2 weeks ago that I would. So here we are. Here's the YouTube version. There's an Instagram channel also called Curated by Carm. So you should go follow that. I'm just starting to put stuff there, but you'll at least start to see some of the backing of what we did to get to the Grammy dress. All in all, amazing experience. Loved making this dress. Will I make it again? Likely not. Was it easy to put together? Yes, besides all the tulle. But that's just more cumbersome than it was challenging. And maybe, actually, I don't know, maybe if I would make it again if I decreased the bodice. And yeah, it was fun. And I would have to do it in some kind of a fun print. I will say, because it is a vintage dress, I'm not a vintage dresser. You know, certain people are just like, that is their actual aesthetic. I think the silhouettes of vintage attire is great, but I'm still very modern. So I want it to still look, I want the fabrics and things to look fun and interesting and not like I'm just stepping out of like a 1940s catalog, which is not a bad idea. It's just not my style. So I will say this one is one that I thought it was very fun. It came together pretty quickly because I didn't have a choice, of course. And it definitely was a showstopper for me, especially. And I'll throw up some of the other stuff I've worn to the Grammys in past years. So like just a wrap dress or, you know, a jumpsuit. And the thing I love about the Grammys is that you do have that flexibility to kind of do something that's not so straight lace as a gown. And so I've had a lot of fun with it over the years. But this is definitely one that I'm most proud of because I did it myself. And hopefully you guys enjoy seeing some of the footage from the awards. I think I could throw in some of the performances too. We'll see. I don't know if that's a YouTube thing, but we'll inquire. And if it gets taken down, I'll just edit it out and you won't even hear this part. And it's okay. But otherwise, very pleased with the outcome and excited for the next project. Cheers.